Hey. So the husband is home, so it's completely possible he's going to interrupt this and pretend he didn't realize I was talking. Or come in not realizing I'm talking. Anyway. I had a thought and I wanted to express it before I forgot it. So, now I gotta school it. There's a video. It's a cartoon movie little thingy. I think it's on Dust. Do y'all watch Dust? Dust is fun. And it's a gnome coming home from work. And he climbs up into his little house in the tree, and there's a caterpillar out on the branch trying to reach a leaf. And he goes over and he looks at the leaf and he looks at the caterpillar and he looks at the leaf, and he goes into his house and he gets his little saw and he comes back out and he cuts the caterpillar an entire stack of leaves. Giant stack of leaves. Pats the caterpillar on the head and goes inside and has himself dinner and has himself a cup of tea and reads for a little while and gets ready for bed and crawls into his bed box. And here's chew. Chew, chew, crunch, 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 because the caterpillar's eating the leaves. And he lays there until he's wired for sound, and then he gets up and he goes outside, and he gets right in the caterpillar's face, and he goes, shh. And he turns around and he walks back, and by the time he gets back to his bed box, before he can even get into it, crunch, 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 crunch. So he gets up, and he opens up his safe, and he takes out a stick of dynamite. And he walks the stick of dynamite out, and he sets it on the stack of leaves. He goes back inside, plugs one ear, and blows the dynamite. And it's silent. And he gets in bed and he goes to sleep. And the camera pans out to the splattered pieces of caterpillar everywhere. When you first watch this, your first impression is, oh, how nice, he got the caterpillar some leaves. That's not what he did. What he did was he made certain that the caterpillar didn't go anywhere else. Because he didn't know if the caterpillar would fall asleep at nighttime. And had the caterpillar fell asleep at nighttime, the caterpillar would have woke up in the morning to another stack of leaves and eaten them and gone its way. Or become its pet, his pet. Have you ever had a cricket in the house? Chirp, chirp, chirp. In a corner? Somewhere. Can't find it. Chirp, 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 chirp. And it's actually much more like squeak, squeak. Drives you nuts. Can't find it. Move the picture frame. Move the couch. Look under here. Look over there. There's a cricket in the house someplace. Kind of like having a cicada in the tree. That high-pitched screaming hum. Can't find it. Gnomes are old. He knew that if there was a caterpillar in his tree, it would be loud and he wouldn't be able to sleep. So he made sure the caterpillar stayed right there. And in fact, if there were other caterpillars in the tree, they would have come down for the free food. Okay. That's that little cartoon. People do this, and people do this to you. One of the things I have a hate on for, one of the things I will rant about, is setting somebody up for failure and watching somebody get set up for failure. I know a guy. He thought he was going to be a surfer. His wife grew up in California and surfed in Hawaii, and he wanted to be a surfer too. So he took surfing lessons, and he practiced, and he thought he was getting pretty damn good. And they went to Hawaii, and they'd been married a few years, not that many, but a few years. They rented a car, and they rented some surfboards, and they drove out to a prime surfing area. Surfing where you learn to surf and surfing in the real world are not the same thing. Okay, that's kind of like saying jumping on the trampoline is a lot like jumping out of an airplane. It's a totally different concept. Okay? His wife never said anything at all. So he shows up on a pro beach. And she baits him. Aren't you going to go surfing? I thought you said you were going to go surfing. Well, he's looking at the surf line going, that's just going to fucking kill me. I can't do that. I'm not capable. It broke him. And they were divorced within 2 years, and he thought it was his fault. And he fell off the wagon, and it broke him. Because he had this concept that he was going to be a surfer. And had she been a positive person, she'd have started him small and worked him up, and 5 or 7 years later, when he had the muscle memory, he could have surfed that beach. She did it on purpose because she was a bitch. Okay? And she got his trust fund in the divorce, which I think was the entire purpose. I watch it happen time and time again, where somebody will pretend to encourage somebody, and the person being encouraged won't know enough about the situation to know that they're being played. A certain shop owner in Tacoma does it all the time. She's so toxic. And everybody thinks that she's this amazing, wonderful person, and it's not her fault. Everybody fails around her, and she's there to help them pick up the pieces. No, she's there to buy their stock at wholesale, or at below wholesale. Let me encourage you to be a vendor. Let me encourage you to buy all this stock to be a vendor. Oh, it didn't work. You need to sell. I'll buy it all from you. I'm helping you. That's half her scam. Sorry, I'm still bitter. People set other people up to fail. And that little cartoon about the gnome, I think, was the best explanation of it I've ever seen. So I thought I'd talk about that first thing in the morning. My coffee is still too hot to drink. So I made Arki yesterday. So this is Everclear. Note the lack of bubbles. Okay. Alcohol doesn't hold bubbles. Water does. This is Arki. Okay. It has bubbles. It doesn't have that many bubbles. It's easily strong enough to make hand sanitizer out of. I'd put it in the 140. And yeah, that's all I got. Because that's this much of this. And in reality, I need to get about that much of this out, because that's how much alcohol is in here, is about that much. So I'll have to run it a second time. I'm trying to set up an essential oil still. Okay? But I have to test my equipment, and the easiest way to test your equipment is with a bottle of wine. And we will call it Arki, because that is the Mongolian name for it. Arki is made from fermented milk wine. Milk wine is called Kumasi. Because there are federal laws. Computers. I typed in Arki on Facebook. I said I made Arki tonight, and blah, 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 blah. And within 5 minutes, all of my ads were liquor. So don't tell me that the computer algorithms don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Anyway. Yeah, I'll run it 1 or 2 more times. I have the last of the peppermint in the garden I want to try to make some essential oils out of. And I want to try to make some orange essential oils. And if I can get it working right, I have a functional essential oil still. And I'm really happy about that, because it's been a while. And I might make some rosemary oil, and I might make some sage oil, and you know, once you start making, you just keep making, in all honesty. And next year, when all the rose petals are on, I'll make rose oil, which is the end game, because I haven't had rose oil in 5-6 years. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Watch out for people who are helping you for the purpose of making you fail, because not all help is the same. I'll talk to you later.